Hi everybody, this is Osprey from MyChartCoach.com, and in this video we're going to take a look at the small caps that were in play today. So if you look at JMU here, closed up 45% today, nice move. It did close just above that middle Bollinger Band, currently at 179 on a big volume spike. It needs to stay above this dotted purple line. As you can see here, it's had a hard time staying above that level. Once it turns into support, the 50-day simple moving average at 299 will be the target. Okay, take a look at YUMA. Closed up nearly 50% today. This was a nice move. It's another one of those downtrending stocks that was having a dead cat bounce, formed this long lower wick yesterday. Even though the volume was light, there was a PSAR bull flip today, and it closed above EMA's 4 and 8. It's going to need to break the 50-day simple moving average up here at 42 to head higher. If that remains resistance, it could signal more consolidation. It did form bullish kicking reversal pattern today, so look out for bullish reversal confirmation. Okay, take a look at ANY. Closed up 33% today. Another stock that had been pulling back, formed this long lower wick. Keep an eye out for lower wicks on pullbacks. Many times that signals that people loaded, even though this was another small volume bar. So same thing, closed above EMA's 4 and 8 and EMA 13. It needs to get above the middle Bollinger Band at 34, and then the next key level will be that 50-day simple moving average at 42.5. As you can see here, that's been the tough level to break. Until it breaks, that is the sell zone. Now today, bullish homing pigeon reversal pattern that had formed right here, where the black candle formed instead of the red candle, that pattern was confirmed today. So confirm the bullish reversal pattern. Okay, take a look at AMRS. Okay, so this got hammered tonight in after hours trading. It is currently at $6.60. That puts it down here below the middle Bollinger Band at 712. It did have a really nice uptrend going. The uptrend started down here in June when the middle Bollinger Band turned into support. So now that it's below the middle Bollinger Band, more than likely at the open tomorrow, due to this secondary offering, and it's a biggie. I mean, you know, $46 million here. Yeah, it looks like this could put pressure on the stock. You know, more than just tomorrow after the open. We'll see. Now it's hitting the key support zones here. You have the 50-day simple moving average at 649 and the 100-day simple moving average at 632. It needs to bounce off this level. That's also lined up with the lower Bollinger Band at 628. If this, we'll call it 630 support zone, fails to hold, that would signal major downside risk. You could see it retrace down to 5, retest this level down here in May, and come down to that 200-day simple moving average. So it would be best for the bulls if it bounced off 650. If it drops below 650, 630 is your last line of defense. If not, you could see the 5s on deck. Okay, let's look at SAEX here. Closed up 28%. You know, notice on these stocks that get back above RSI above 30 oversold. You know, that's a signal the chart's heating up. It's still below 20 on Fasto. You've got a major pullback. Look how they pulled it back on super light volume. They just walked this thing down. Look at that, staircased it down. And then today it finally closed above EMA 4 at 55 cents for the first time since, back, way up. This was right at it. I mean, really right here was well above it. You know, so it's been a long time. They just walked this thing straight down. And so now maybe it'll get a nice little pop. It started today. It did form a bullish one white soldier reversal pattern. So be on the lookout for bullish reversal confirmation. And then it needs to stay above 55. If it dropped back below 55, it would make it a risk to hold. As you can see, it's deadly if you're holding long. You know, it's great if you're short. The green dots here flip below the candles, so that's PSAR, you know, stop and reverse. Signals possible start of a new uptrend here. It has to break 76. Notice the EMA 13. If it can get above that, that's when it could get moving. Okay, look at ANW here. Closed up 23%. This is Heiken Ashi chart. Okay, and yeah, this is a little different than the Japanese candlestick chart. And as you can see here, it did close above the 100-day simple moving average, currently at 203. So that was a very bullish close above resistance. It also closed above the top of this channel. And so this is a good sign that it wants to head higher. Look for a move up to the 200-day simple moving average at 293, as long as it can should stay above $2. If it drops below 2, then it'll signal more consolidation. But if it can stay above 2, especially on this volume spike, it looks like it wants to take it to the next level. 293 at 200-day simple moving average will be the next target. Okay, take a look at GST here. Closed up 8.5%. This has a very, very ugly chart. Okay, it did form a bullish reversal pattern today. It formed a bullish Harami cross. Okay, so when you get a doji during a downtrend, many times that signals a bounce. The doji is this candlestick right here. It's where the close and the open are at the same level. It's a stalemate between the bulls and the bears, and many times when that happens during a pullback, it sets it up for a technical bounce. So keep an eye on it. It's very bearish right now. It's below EMA 4. If you see it trading above EMA 4 at 0.098, it could heat up. So yeah, have that one on the radar. And then take a look at LGCY here. Closed up nearly 19%. Yeah, this closed right above the middle Bollinger Band at 485, and so it needs to stay above that level. Notice how the upper the candle on today's candle had no upper wick. The high of day was the last trade of the day. That shows that the bulls were in control right into the close, and so it was a very strong close. It just needs to stay above 485. If it could turn that level into support, then it could possibly run up to this 575, 584 level where the 50 and 100-day simple moving averages are at. Now notice it did break resistance on light volume. There's not big volume behind the move. It's always better if there's more volume. It is holding the 200-day simple moving average at 406. It's only a good play for the bulls if they can stay above that middle Bollinger Band. Okay, take a look at AMMA. Closed up 19.5% today. So this did close above the middle Bollinger Band, and so if that level turns into support currently at 18 cents here, then it could possibly make a move up to that 50-day simple moving average. That's been the big level to break. The middle Bollinger Band has been tough to hold. As you can see, these candles here have been failing to stay above that dotted purple line. So it's only a good bounce play here if it can stay above that level. It formed a tight channel here, and so it's trying to break out of this tight channel. Look at these candles are all inside here, and then today it busted above, and then yeah, you've got the top of this channel is lined up at 21 here around with this upper Bollinger Band. If it busts through 21, it could possibly run up to that 26.5 level. Okay, keep your eye on KBSF. Yeah, this stock's a piece of junk. There's much better stocks in the sector. It did form bullish doji star reversal pattern today. So keep an eye on it. It had this big volume spike, so I'm putting it in the video. It had the big volume. This was like a big dilution thing. It opened up near $8 and they drove it down. And then notice how they freaking just walked this thing all the way down. I mean, on super light volume. And then today it finally bounced. It did form bullish. Okay, the bullish doji star reversal pattern that formed was confirmed today. Okay, so that pattern was formed right here. So it came down, formed the bullish doji star. It had another red candle, and today the white candle is has confirmed that pattern. And so now it's above the EMA 4 and the 300-day simple moving average. And so it needs to stay above 408. If it dropped below $4, then it's just it's going to signal more downside risk. The upside potential. I mean, it has all the moving averages lined up here. I mean, it's really tough to bust through moving averages. But if it worked its way back up to $5, that's where it's been stalling out at, is this 100-day simple moving average. So I see that as the upside potential. It might be able to make a 20% move back up to that $5 level and stall out. It just, but if it drops below $4, do not touch it. And plus, it's just such a light volume, only 100,000 shares traded today. It would get interesting if volume came in and they tried to push it. Just keep in mind, this is the kind of stock that that's usually best just to sell before the close. Look at the sideways channel. Look at the, it's just not the best stock in the world. But when it runs, and the ATM's open, you could, there's opportunity to make a trade. Okay, look at PTIE here. Closed down 47% today. It always sucks when you wake up the next day and you wake up to this. They announced a direct offering, 11.3 million shares. I mean, there's no way to know when something like this is going to happen. But if you look at the daily chart, it's a clue that the company is not to be trusted. You could see here the big gap downs. You know, it had the big gap down here, and then it came across, and then it had another gap down, and then it bounced up above, and then more bad news. And so, yeah, the when it has a history of having bad news, you know, a lot of times if you're up on the day, like yesterday, the safest thing to do is to lock in gains end of day, and you know, look to reload the next day if it's going to push higher. Now I know it did close above the middle Bollinger Band, and if that level held, it could get going. It could have got moving, and so that was a good setup yesterday, closing above the middle Bollinger Band. It was failed to hold the last time here back in the beginning of August when it closed above. It failed to hold and pulled back, and so if it wasn't for that direct offering, you know, there would have been an opportunity if it dropped below to exit without this huge, you know, people taking a huge hit on that gap down. That always sucks. That's the risk with the penny stocks. That's why it's good to know, you know, the financing, and you know, it's always about checking the financing with penny stocks. And so so now with the gap down here, you're looking at this 15-minute chart now, and so right now it's channeled sideways. So you have the top of the gap up, or here's the top of the gap down here. So it's the low of day yesterday, and then the high of day today is the bottom of the gap. And so it went sideways. And so right now it needs to break through this 110 resistance level. That's the top of the you know, today's trading, and the bottom of the gap between today and yesterday. And so it has to get through that 110 level to run up to 120 and fill the gap. Now to the downside, if it dropped below 98, that's going to signal downside risk. It needs to hold 98. Okay, so one more to leave you with, ITUS. Yeah, so check out this one. It closed up 9% today. It had a nice run earlier. What was that? Earlier in the week, and last week, and it only had 100,000 shares today. What was it? Yeah, it was back here on Friday. It got moving, and then Monday it finished out, and then they pulled it back the last 3 days, and then today it got back above the middle Bollinger Band. Notice this downtrending channel, and so today it's back above the top of the descending resistance line. You know, you can see descending support. And so, yeah, this is just a signal that it could possibly break out higher. It needs to get above this 395 resistance zone. If you see it trading above 395, it could get moving. So keep an eye on ITUS. Okay, thanks for viewing this video.